And a good Friday afternoon to all of you out there watching on KXAN Live. I'm Will Dupree coming to you from the KXAN Live studio for a preview of our Sunday program, State of Texas. You may know this show covering a lot of the political issues that are happening here in Texas, breaking those down in in-depth ways and continuing the conversation. Well, we're going to do just that here today, giving you a little bit of a sense of what to expect this weekend during the Sunday show. And coming off of 2 weeks of the Ken Paxton impeachment trial, there was a whole lot more to discuss here in statewide politics. So we are welcoming into the conversation today the host of State of Texas, Josh Hinkle. Josh, thank you so much for being here and taking time to do this.
Thank you for having me, Will.
You know, we mentioned there the impeachment trial wrapping up after 2 weeks. We thought, that was kind of the pinnacle of a lot of the statewide political developments that we're going to be following. However, there was something coming up down the pike. Tell us what we can expect it's going to unfold at the Texas State Capitol potentially very soon.
Right. If you are a state lawmaker, you have barely had a chance to breathe, or anyone covering state politics for that matter, as we well know, because what we're hearing is there's likely going to be a special session, another one coming up in October, which is just a matter of days away. So this one's going to tackle education funding. There are still a lot of questions about using public money to pay for private schools and how parents should be able to utilize that funding set. And then also still a lot of questions about teacher pay raises, teacher retention, attracting new teachers to Texas has been very, very difficult in recent years. And teachers are not paid as well as many people believe they should be. And I think that that's going to be a big, big, big topic coming up in this special session.
What we also should point out, Josh, is that, yes, this session will potentially focus on education issues. I should say this special legislative session. The governor's indicated that he would like to do that. However, what happened during the impeachment trial may factor into what discussions will happen during that time back at the Capitol. We want to point out that there's been a contentious relationship between Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and House Speaker Dade Phelan, and that only became more apparent after the results of this impeachment trial. Can you talk about what you all will be discussing related to that on State of Texas this weekend?
Right. So remember, special sessions can only be 30 days long. So that's not a big window to get big, important topics done. So you have to work well together between the two chambers, the House and the Senate. They have to play nice. They have to collaborate. And when your leaders are not getting along, that makes it very difficult. And we've seen this play out time after time after time during the time that Speaker Phelan and Lieutenant Governor Patrick have served these chambers. It goes back as far as 2021 with the whole, what do we do about the blackout and the electric grid? That was really when we started first seeing kind of this snafu between the two of them, where there was some fighting and the two chambers came up with different plans and couldn't agree. And it's continued to trickle out, if you remember, through the regular session this year and the first special session. It was all about property taxes and a lot of fighting right there. Now it seems like it's going to be about this education funding issue, and really it stems out of what happened with the impeachment. We thought that everything was over, and then right at the last minute, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, as he was addressing the chamber to really wrap up the impeachment proceedings, said that the House did a lot of things wrong. They rushed through the process and blamed the speaker on a lot of those things happening, that the impeachment process could have been avoided. That in turn created a strong response from the speaker as well. So I think what we've seen in the week since then is a lot of infighting, not between just the two of them, but a lot of different leaders in both parties, really. But it's really interesting that it's happening right there at the Republican Party, because as Republicans hold the majority in both chambers, you want them to agree, so this will be a smooth process, but it doesn't look like that's happening right now.
Yeah, I just want to point it out that House Speaker Dade Phelan even essentially claimed Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick rigged the impeachment trial to benefit Ken Paxton in the end. We'll have to see whether they can mend some fences and work on a coordinated strategy to pass some of these different education initiatives come up this special legislative session. We did have a chance to hear from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Our Capitol correspondent Monica Madden talked to him one-on-one following the impeachment trial. And while the conversation did focus a lot on that and some of the criticism that Dan Patrick has received, he also spoke briefly about this upcoming fight about education, school vouchers, teacher pay, that kind of thing. And I want to play just a small portion of Monica's packages she did on this story, and then we'll continue our conversation on the other side. So just listen into this.
And as an education special session looms ahead, the House and Senate are already at odds over school vouchers.
The governor and the speaker have to come to an agreement. And we're not going to accept some watered down bill, but it's really up what is the governor willing to sign.
And there you heard at the end, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick saying, what is the governor willing to sign? We have yet to see the governor put out a call for what will be included in this special legislative session or when it exactly will start. So we'll keep an eye on that. But Josh, just remind people again what could potentially be discussed during this special session. You mentioned it earlier, but I think it bears repeating.
Sure. The big one that everyone's wondering about is what many people refer to as the voucher program. It's basically allowing parents to take public funding to pay for private schools. And it comes down to that school choice type argument. The second thing really is teacher pay. Teachers are very underfunded in Texas and many other states, but here in Texas, it seems like there might be an opportunity to do more. We just heard from the comptroller this week that there is going to be a much bigger surplus than he originally expected in state revenue, in large part because of insurance premiums that have kind of gone over recently, which brought a much bigger revenue surplus to the state. I think those projections will be out in October, so they'll know exactly how much they'll have to deal with. But we could be looking at quite a lot of money that they could invest back into public education, specifically teacher pay raises.
The fight over that is still ongoing, so we'll keep following it. Josh, remind everybody where they can watch State of Texas so that they can hear a little bit more about some of these things.
Sure. You can watch State of Texas on KXAN at 8:30 and on Sunday morning, and also 9:30 on CW Austin. We'll also post the entire program on KXAN.com, and we have a State of Texas podcast that comes out on Sunday mornings where you can get the full audio version of that program and listen to it maybe on your Monday morning drive to work.
Lots of ways to watch that, and we appreciate you joining us this afternoon to preview what's to come this weekend. So, Josh Hinkle, thanks again for being here, and hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Will.
All right, everybody, we'll send you off there. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take care, everybody. We'll see you back here soon. Enjoy your weekend.